Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 3 instructional video. So let's start off with just taking a deep breath, okay? Whew. Last week was a trial for some of us, right? Whether it was some issues with D2L or issues kind of getting into a rhythm with your group. We're starting with a clean slate. Breathe in the positive, breathe out the negative, and we'll move forward. I'm going to cover a few things in our video this week, but I first want to mention some things from our reading, some ideas from last week to then carry us into what we're going to work on this week. So one thing I really want us to focus on is Irvin's article, but mainly some ideas that Irvin covers. First of all, Irvin notes how different academic writing is from every other kind of writing. Right? So the writing that even you did in high school or that you use in your professional lives or will in the future use in your professional life, everything is a bit different from one another for sure, but academic writing is this little category, this little genre of writing that can be complicated, especially because each class has different expectations. And that makes it even more frustrating. But what I want you to take away from Irvin's article and from this discussion right now is that you as a student have every right to understand the expectations of any writing assignment. So if you're in a course, you have, a paper due on such and such date, you should feel comfortable with those expectations. If the professor is not providing a rubric or a video or a handout or something to kind of set the guidelines and expectations, you have every right to reach out to that person and just say, hey, can I get a little bit more information or an example? Don't be afraid to do that because there's no way for you to be able to play the game if you don't know what the rules are, right? So make sure that that's part of the tool in your tool belt when it comes to being successful in academia, right? The next thing in Irvin's article that I think is truly important is this notion of these myths, right? And these are myths that we all carry around with us. For one reason or another, we have heard these things and internalized them. Whether it is that you have to start with the perfect first draft or that good grammar is good writing. No, none of those things are true, but that doesn't stop us from kind of having those internalized dialogues, right? No, good grammar is not good writing. We have tools like Grammarly, like Microsoft Word. We have the assistance of tutors and our colleagues to help us with writing. We don't have to be the experts if we know who to go to or what tools to utilize to help with those things, right? So please make sure that you're thinking about those myths as we move through this semester. And if you start to hear that little negative voice in your head when it comes to writing, just shut it down. Tell it to shove off, okay? So Irvin's article is important in that way. I also want to mention Chimamanda Adichie's TED Talk because I think there's so many valuable points that she offers to us in different areas, right? But I think one thing we can definitely relate to is this notion of a single story, right? But I want us to think about the fact that we may have a single story of ourselves as writers, whether that's something that came about in the second grade or we got, some negative feedback in, high school on a paper, or, we may have just developed this really negative voice, again, about the way that we write. And we need to shut that down and start thinking of the different layers we have to our own stories as writers, as students, as people out in the world. So Adichie really focuses on this notion that it's really dangerous, it's really detrimental to have the single view, the single version of ourselves and others, of course, right? So I want you to, again, carry that with you this semester as well. So I also want to hit on the issues that some of you may have been having with groups. I completely understand it, and some of it is because we work at different paces. So some people are very much front of the week people. You want to log in on Monday, you want everything done early in the week, you have jobs, you have kids, you have all of these responsibilities. And others, you have those things perhaps, but you're still kind of working more towards the end of the week, which is completely understandable. Part of the value of online courses is that you have some freedom to work at your own pace. So what I've done is I've revised, get it? Revised. English joke. Anyhow, I have revised the groups. So some of you may have one additional member. I'm trying to really set it up so that most of you are in groups of 5 now so that you always have that rotation between the different roles and responsibilities. No one person is going to be the scribe throughout the semester. That's a lot of work for one person throughout the semester. So those roles will rotate, but then there's also a little bit of wiggle room if somebody is having a particularly tough week. Maybe they need to be the questioner, or you can just negotiate that as the weeks go along. And I also tried to pair you with people who were working, seem to be on the same timeline. Again, those people who want to get the work done at the front of the week, the back of the week, that kind of thing. So check in with your groups. And one way to do that, I'm just going to jump to D2L, is to go to the collaboration area right here, and from the drop-down menu, go to groups. Yours is going to look a little different from mine. See, these are all the groups. And so you'll see your group number, and you can click on this for your members, that kind of thing. So just make sure that you are kind of seeing how your group may have been updated a little bit, and you'll want to exchange contact information and all that, but I've set that up in our discussion post this week, so it's going to be okay. Let me jump to D2L again just to walk through our week, okay? So in the content area, in week 3, I've canceled a few things, but let me get to that. So this week we're actually jumping right into our course textbook, chapter 1, which is the digital world, building on what you already know. And so you're watching the weekly instructional video, and then you do have a discussion post that's due Thursday, and that will be in your revised coalition group. So that's due the majority of the discussion. So your initial response to the prompt needs to be there by Thursday, and then you want to engage and interact with one another. But remember, everybody can work on a little bit of a different timeline. We're going to take this group work step by step. Instead of jumping right into having the scribe do this and the participation boss do that, we're just going to ease into it so that we can get used to one another, get used to the group setting, and get to know one another, right? All right, so by Sunday, you need to respond to all of your colleagues in the discussion board. So that's where the time comes into your initial response, but then engaging with one another. These are the conversations that we're having digitally, right? So that takes effort. And then you do have your participation quiz. So if I scroll down, you're watching the only thing that will appear here. And then to review, I put that chapter 1, it's in the book and additional readings module. I cannot link it directly here because D2L is D2L. There's also the online discussion post rubric, so I recommend that you just kind of take a look, see what's going on there. The expectations for grading will increase every week, just like the points value. So this week we're working with 10-point grades instead of 5-point grades. So slowly those will increase as we get more confident, as we start to practice the writing more and start to read more about writing and put that to use. So just keep an eye on that. And then if you want to find the book, right, you can access the book completely on your own, but if you want to access it through D2L, you'll go up to the book and additional readings module. There is a direct link here, but then if you scroll down, there are also actual links to the chapters. But I do want to show you the direct link just so you can bookmark it, especially if D2L goes down, which happens. You want to have access to that book whenever you may need it. So if you click on this link, it actually takes you directly to the book, and this is what it looks like. It can be overwhelming to look at first, right? There are all of these links on the side, and then they expand even more. So it's a lot. And you can also order a print copy if you would like. That's through Amazon. It's a pretty hefty book. I need print in front of me sometimes, just so I can take physical notes. That's how I work best. So you can order that, but know that you can also download chapters, print them if you'd like, just whatever's going to work for you. If you do go to this online version, you can also, they have study tools so you can highlight different areas and whatnot. So we'll be reading chapter 1, which is right here. So all of this information is just broken into sections, okay? So you want to start with, you'll see the introduction, you'll see all the links to the different sections, and then if you just scroll down, you know, it has some good online features, like you can click to double check the images, you can turn the page in essence, it just revisits the learning outcomes. So that is the direct access. If we go back to stand by. If we go back to D2L, you can also access the first chapter here. It's going to look a little bit different, right? So you have those options, you know, so you want to start with the introduction. And so it's the same thing, it's just the window is a bit more limited. You still have some of those features that you can utilize. You can also search the text, all of those same things. You can change the font size. So just make sure that you're choosing whichever route works best for you. Okay. I'm going to jump back to week 3. So you do have your new discussion. I'll have to address this, your week 3 composition coalition discussion. And so this one is based on the reading. And so I put you may have been placed in new groups, so I just go into some details. And the first thing I want you to consider is going down, and I've posted contact information. So if I'm just gonna click 6. I've already started a thread here. If you open this, hit reply, and that's where you will offer the email you want people to use, the phone number, what about the group me, that kind of thing, just because you may have new members or you may be in a completely different group, that kind of thing. So just make sure that you're keeping your eye on that. And then I put here this figure that's what we're going to work around this week. So your goal is to actually choose a meme, because our chapter talks about the idea and development of memes. You're going to choose a meme that you want to analyze and answer all of these questions regarding. You're going to want to actually upload that meme. So when I'm talking about meme, it's an image, right? Not necessarily a GIF, but an image that you can upload and share so the people who are reading your analysis can see what you're talking about. Make sure that you're saving it as a JPEG. If you have problems uploading it, try copying and pasting, do what you need to do. All right, so then you'll need to engage with your coalition members after you answer all of these by Thursday, right? So you're focusing on purpose, genre, stance, context, culture, audience, all of those things that you'll read about. So, you know, you'll have the contact information thread, and then for your initial response, click start a new thread. Oh, D2L, work with me. And in the subject line, you're going to use your name, pronouns if you choose. Let me pause. So you'll put your name in the subject area here. You're going to copy and paste, or you're going to upload your document by clicking this button right here. Okay, so you'll search your computer, you'll upload it. I think I may have copied and pasted, so let me paste what yeah. So I was working with a Bitmoji earlier, and so I just copied and pasted it. And then you'll write your response below it. You'll want to resize it, don't make it super huge, but you know, large enough for people to see. You'll click post. All right, so that is the discussion. If we go back to week 3, I'm going to pause right here before I go further and say that the random word for this week's quiz is revisions, because we are revising some of the groups. You're going to want to respond to all the colleagues. This is a nothing. If you click on this, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a reminder that that's something that you'll need to accomplish. And then you'll have your quiz, which will be updated. This does not look correct, so I will work on that. Works in progress, right? There's no such thing as perfect first draft. All right, so I went over the word, I went over the book. I'm just going through my list. Adichie, Irvin, everything. Okay, so here's just me wishing you the best of luck this week. If you have any of those tech issues, please make sure that you are reaching out and opening a ticket with OTS. The more they hear about those issues from people other than me complaining about what's going on, the better information they have to then take straight to D2L, because you know, our OTS people are wonderful, but some of these D2L things, it's the company, the platform company, that really needs to get on solving these issues. So hang in there, take care, have a great week. Keep posting in that Q&A discussion board. I just appreciate y'all doing that so much. And then if you need to, definitely reach out to me. All right, have a good one.